Hey, Aaron Adams here, Infinity Investing. Going to spend a few minutes today breaking down for you ways that you can invest from home, from your armchair in front of your computer, and how you can be a real estate investor. I have some unique ideas and strategies that I think can work really well for any investor. The first thing that I would always advise is if you want to invest out of state in another city, you do need to make one trip there at least, preferably a couple. But you need to spend a few days really getting a feel for the market. Now, one of the beautiful things about websites like Zillow is you can do searches in a city several different ways. So one of the things that I like to do is go to the properties for sale or properties that were sold section, bring the city up, and then I'll start by putting I'll do a search for all of the properties that have sold under 100,000, which these days isn't very much. And then I'll do 150, and then 2, and then 250. And then I'll start at the other end of the financial spectrum and put all the homes that have sold for over $2 million, and then 1.75, and then 1.5, and then a million. So what you'll start to see jumping out at you by doing these searches in a city is you'll instantly know where the war zones are, where the rich people live, all the different neighborhoods. That'll help you map out what kind of demographic, what kind of area you want to be invested in. I do that before I even go there. And then by clicking on the links, which you can do on Zillow, you can also see if a home was sold completely fixed up or if it was a dump, it had been foreclosed on. Really, you can organically get a feel for a neighborhood before you even go there. Now, let's say you identify 2 or 3 areas that are good for investing for you. The next thing I would do is when I go to that town, I would drive those neighborhoods extensively. And one of the things I would look for is signs of the same brokerage or the same realtor popping up over and over. Because the next thing you want to find is a market specialist. You want somebody who knows that neighborhood. Real estate investing clubs can be a good resource to find people. If you could coincide your visit to that market the same day that the foreclosure auction is happening on a monthly basis, that gives you a good idea because you could see what neighborhoods investors are bidding on and where they're buying. And if you can make that contact with a good realtor or a good local property manager, again, something that you can find geographically based, because property management companies tend to focus on certain parts of town, certain types of properties, maybe single family homes, maybe multifamily. You find the right person, then you'll tap into their whole network, their network of contractors, their network of leasing agents, their network of different people that you can work with. And so that whole process of homework, a lot of it can be done on the ground at your house and on the phone, but nothing can replace you actually spending a few days, preferably a week, really driving the market that you intend to invest in and meeting people and businesses that are located there. The next thing I would think about if I'm trying to invest remotely is just to keep it simple. So, I had a friend who bought a house 4 states away, and he was just in love with the idea that he bought it for $25,000. And it was a dump. I was just completely hammered down in the South. And what's sad is that was only worth $25,000. And now he had a home that he couldn't rent that needed a ton of work, and he would have been better off buying something for $80,000 all fixed up. And so keep it simple. If you are investing out of state, you don't want it to make that whole process to be too complicated. Look for opportunities to invest passively with other people. So what if you do your homework and you find somebody that's doing the exact same kind of deals that you do? Maybe they're doing trailer parks or apartment complexes, or they're flipping homes. I would try to have a conversation of where I could provide maybe money for them and partner in that capacity. So we have a really good pipeline of brand new manufactured homes here in Idaho that are coming in every month. And I have a client who I've worked with for a long time. He lives in Alaska. And he said to me, "Hey, how can I be involved? I have an extra $500,000. And I said, "All right, well, what if we use your money, my deals, my resources, my projects, and we split 60% to me, 40% to you?" And he loved that idea. So we did a partnership agreement. We structured that together. We take title to all the properties in his LLC's name, so he has security if I get hit by a bus. But it's allowed him to keep it simple because he's already jumping in on projects that I have all built out and ready to go. And so learning to invest passively with others is a great way to invest in real estate remotely from the safety of your home. Syndications are another great way to invest in real estate. If you're not sure what a syndication is, if 3 friends and I decide that we want to partner on a deal, we set up a company, we set up an LLC, and we all put our name on the LLC, or we put our business name on there. It's very easy. When you get over 3 or 4 investors, it starts to get complicated. When you get over 15 or 20, you need to structure what's called a syndication. And that's just the legal structure. You still use an LLC, but there's certain rules that are federal rules that you have to comply with to make sure that people are protected and that you're not running fraud and that it isn't set up fraudulently and that people aren't buying a security or investing like it's in the stock market. And so if you Google real estate syndications, there's several different structures that investors use, but it's a great way to invest. And we offer syndications to our investors. We've done them in Idaho. We have them in Kansas City. We're planning on one in Charlotte. If you're involved with our organization with Infinity as a member, then you'll have an opportunity to see the syndications that we offer. And if you're an accredited investor, then you can also invest in those. And if you are an accredited investor, there's opportunities all over the country for you to get involved in syndications. It's a great way to invest safely from home. And the final thing I would say to think about is consider maybe being a lender. Because if I wasn't interested in my client from Alaska being a partner, I could always structure his investment as a lender. Maybe I pay him 10%, maybe I pay him 12% a year on his money, or 10% of the profits. But there's ways that you as an investor can lend money to people who are on the ground in that market you want to be invested in. You won't make as much, but it's going to be passive for you and it's going to be active for them. And so you still could have really profitable returns and have it be repeatable over and over again, accomplishing that objective for you. And so learning to be a passive investor and learning to invest long distance is absolutely a skill. It's interesting to me. I have investors from the other side of the world, from Singapore and Hong Kong and the UK, who are very comfortable with long distance investing. And I find that in the US, it's not something that we're very comfortable with or that we do very well. And so it's definitely something that you have to learn how to do. But when you do, it allows you to, I meet people all the time who have so much cash, and it's because they're not good at being long distance passive investors. So it allows you to choose the markets that you want to be in for very specific reasons. Maybe they're appreciating, maybe they're very stable, and maybe you don't live in a higher appreciating market or a very stable market. And it also allows you to invest money passively. And when it's somebody else's active income earning passive for you, that's financial freedom. And when you get to that, and as you get older, that you're going to want more and more of that. So the time to learn how to do that is now. If this is a subject that's interesting to you, we do a 3-day live weekend in Indianapolis every month through Infinity Investing. Love to have you get involved. Love to have you attend that event. And we teach investors how to invest passively, and we sell them passive investments in markets all over the country. So I look forward to seeing you at one of those events. And thanks for taking a few minutes to join me today.